Megyn Kelly, my boss, Megyn Kelly, who is producing the show Mother of All Mothers, our queen. I am now on MK Media. That is where we're coming to you right now. Megyn Kelly had Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson on her show yesterday, and she really took them to task over their book about Biden's decline. She's going super viral this morning. We all couldn't be happier for her. But I want to look at one of these clips, and then we'll talk about it.
And Alex and I are here to say that conservative media was right. And conservative media was correct, and that there should be a lot of soul searching, not just among me, but among the legacy media to begin with, all of us, for how this was covered or not covered sufficiently. 100%. So, I mean, I'm not here to defend coverage that I've already acknowledged I wish I could do differently. Megyn, we didn't come on the show thinking that this was going to be a softball interview. I understand. Listen. And conservative media absolutely has every right to say we were hip to this and the legacy media was not. Now, I do not accept that I was part of a cover-up. I do not accept that I was just providing cover for Joe Biden. I think a lot of these clips are not fair. The one that is fair is the Laura Trump clip, and I own it.
I am glad Jake Tapper is admitting that conservative media was right. But it wasn't just conservative media, because there were Democrat voters saying Joe Biden is not well. We don't want Joe Biden to run again. In fact, Joe Biden said, I'm going to do one term and then dip out to the retirement home and live my life in peace. Okay? Or as Taylor Lorenz said, live my life in piss, apparently. So no, there are Democrat voters who didn't want Joe Biden to run. But conservative media, we were the ones saying time and time again. I made hundreds of videos starting in about 2022. We're now in 2025, detailing Biden's decline, every gaffe, every misstep, every mistake. And we gave the man grace. Jake Tapper on Megyn Kelly's show yesterday, he said, well, Biden, he often put his foot in his mouth. He often said the wrong thing. But the fact of the matter is, this was not just putting your foot in your mouth. Joe Biden was really a disaster. It was clear to anybody with eyes and ears that the man was not doing well. But Jake Tapper, you did run cover. You did run cover. I know you want to do revisionist history and ingratiate yourself now to conservative media because you want to have a future career. CNN's ratings are in the gutter. You want to be loved by conservative media, so you're falling on the sword. But no, when you had Laura Trump on, you pushed on her, you demeaned her, you denigrated her for bringing up the fact that Joe Biden seemed to be in serious cognitive decline. So Jake Tapper, it's nice now you want to come around and admit that all of us were right, but there were folks like me and folks like you who were basically eviscerated for pointing out clear as day that Joe Biden was not doing well. I mean, there were shows I couldn't get booked on because I was so hard on Biden. There was a CNN show that called me multiple times, Jake Tapper, a CNN show where they said, we're going to send a car for you. You're booked for tonight. We can't wait to have you on the panel. And then apparently I was too right of center for them. I wasn't too Democrat enough. I didn't fit their talking points. Always canceled on me. So when CNN and Jake Tapper decide to have more of a cornucopia of voices on their network from conservative media, then we can talk, but you're not putting your money where your mouth is. The only conservative on CNN who's been calling balls and strikes is Scott Jennings. He's the token, amazing, incredible conservative we love on CNN, but there's nobody else. And then you try to book us and you cancel us at the last minute. And the only conservative voices CNN has on are people who are basically Democrat defectors, like people who were Democrats last year and defected. So they're still sort of okay, still sort of in that CNN milieu. But no. Jake Tapper, I will believe it when I see it. It's clear that he knows podcasting and conservative media is the place to go. This was the podcast election. So he's trying to ingratiate himself to all of us. He's hired a big crisis PR firm to turn his image around. It's not working for me yet, right? It takes a lot to fool me. Fool me once, shame on you. However the saying goes, Jake Tapper not buying it. We have one last clip we want to play on Jake Tapper's apology tour because Jake Tapper is waking up to everything we have seen for years. In this clip, he discusses our favorite Hunter Biden. Take a look.
How big a factor was the Hunter stuff?
I think it was considerable. I think Hunter was driving the decision making for the family in a way that he was almost like a chief of staff of the family.
Does that strike you as pretty bizarre?
It's bizarre because I think he is provably, demonstrably unethical, sleazy, and prone to horrible decisions.
I'm glad Jake Tapper is now calling Hunter Biden sleazy, which we've been doing for years. Didn't Hunter Biden start dating his deceased brother's wife? This is a man who allegedly left cocaine at the White House. Y'all know how I feel, though. I don't really buy that it was Hunter Biden's cocaine at the White House, because if it was his cocaine, he probably would have finished the entire bag down to the last morsel. Okay? But Hunter Biden, he is sleazy. This is a guy who left a gun in a dumpster or something and then ran back to get the gun from the dumpster, allegedly. This is not a winner, right? And people want to talk about Donald Trump's kids. None of his kids are drug addicts, derelicts, committing crimes, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I have substance abuse in my family. There are drunks and alcoholics in my family, people who've gone to frickin' treatment. Some of you might be at home alcoholics yourself. It's come all to the Halloween ball. But you have to admit, you shouldn't be chief of staff to the president calling the shots, right? If I had major glaring issues in my life, I should not be calling the shots in Washington, D.C. But I remember, the last year of Biden's presidency, there was a ton of reporting that Hunter Biden was in there saying, you should do this, you should do that. And Hunter really thought of himself as a communications expert, right? When it came to the messaging of the White House, he wanted to be involved in all of that, which is very scary that a derelict drug addict with rotted out, gutted teeth and hookers and a laptop that Jake Tapper sort of tried to cover. I know, Jake Tapper, you don't want to bring that up. But this guy, Hunter, was chief of staff to the president and calling the shots. Yeah, he is derelict. He is sleazy. He is demonstrably a bad guy, or whatever Jake Tapper said. So that is concerning, but it's nice that Jake Tapper is coming around. The last thing I'll say about the Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson book tour, no one else wants to say this or admit it out loud. I don't think Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson even like each other. If you look at the body language, if you look at them on Megyn Kelly, Alex Thompson, the other writer on this book, he had an entirely separate book deal. Okay, he was going to do a solo book deal. He had done all of this reporting on Biden's decline. That book deal fell through. They couldn't have a meeting of the minds. So he went to try and get another book deal, and they basically slapped Jake Tapper's name on this book, in my opinion. So it's funny because Jake Tapper is now late to the party on a lot of the things Alex Thompson has been saying for years. So now Jake Tapper is sitting there because he's the star. He's the household name, but I don't think these guys even like each other.